It's the I'm Clifford Today's show, and I'm the one who's Clifford, and you're not. I'm Clifford today. You're not. That's the thing that I say. So I'm bringing that back. I can't say the. This is sad, but I can't say the live in front of an internet audience anymore. Whenever I do live streams again, I'll say that. Like if I get back to the gaming streams and such, but yeah. So my voice is better. I still might have, I might have to cough a few times, but my pneumonia is like pretty much gone for the most part. I'm feeling a lot better. I didn't notice until I had already recorded that the episode, throughout most of the episode, I was just kind of like, hey everybody, so this is what we're doing today. And it's like, man, is it because I'm not live streaming that I'm just not as active as I usually or lively as I usually am? So I don't know. I'm doing my best to keep up the energy today, because we're gonna have a fun episode, an interesting episode. So but before we get to that, first we are joined by the self-titled album by Genesis. No, it wasn't their first album, but it was probably the first album where fans were kind of like, wait a minute, are they selling out? Which I don't believe that. I don't believe that they sold out. They just completely changed their sound from going from prog rock to now a pop rock act. Even though I still maintain that Genesis still had that prog part of them, part of their DNA that still survived even through their pop era. But I like Self-Titled. It's not a bad little album. Invisible Touch might be better, but this one's got classics like Mama. Mama's a great one. That's All was actually okay. This is actually a little relevant to in fact, I don't know if I told this story before on an interview. I can't remember. But anyways, so there's a song That's All by Genesis. And just as I thought it was going all right, I found out I'm wrong when I thought I was right. So, a little bit of backstory about my upbringing was that my parents were basically like, don't listen to anything secular. I don't think they were as strict on it as other parents were, and they probably weren't as strict on it as I thought they were. I was just a good boy who obeyed anything that I was told. And so when my parents say, hey, it's bad to listen to secular music, I took that to heart and thought that, anything secular was wicked and evil. And so I say that to say that I remember, because my parents loved going to TJ Maxx. And, back in the day, when you're a little kid, when they go shopping, you go with them. And so I would be wandering around in TJ Maxx, and I remember this song playing in the store. And I remember thinking like, man, this is like extremely catchy. But then I was like, oh, but wait, this is most likely secular. I can't enjoy it. And so I felt bad for not liking the song. And it just bothered me so much because I was just like, oh, it's so catchy, but I can't like it, Fast forward years later, my parents are less strict, even more so than they probably really were on the whole, not listening to secular music. Of course, by that time, I was listening to some secular music. And I got into Phil Collins. I mean, which maybe a lot of you guys know. I'm a huge fan of Phil Collins. Well, I mean, obviously, I'm a big Genesis fan now. Um, I got into Phil Collins mostly because of Tarzan. The Tarzan soundtrack got me into him, and I started, listening to more of his music. And then I discovered that he was in this band called Genesis. I'm like, oh, okay, I'll go check that out. And I think Self-Titled was probably the first Genesis album that I actually listened to. And as soon as that's all came on, and I was like, oh my gosh, this was the song that I felt so bad about liking. It was that ingrained into my brain that, because I think it happened twice on an occasion. I think I probably heard that song more than once at TJ Maxx. It was probably on their playlist rotation. Well, back then they probably like played a CD or something, or a tape. This was like the early 2000s, so it could have been a CD. These days they play Spotify playlists and such, but back then it was probably some CD they just had on repeat. But yeah, my mind was blown. I was like, oh my goodness. It just took me all the way back to TJ Maxx, and I was like, wow, how far I've come, going from feeling bad about liking it. I just had no idea that was Phil Collins singing in Genesis. So it was just kind of crazy how that all came full circle for me. And now I'm a huge fan. And then it got me into Peter Gabriel, of course, and his stuff. So, yeah. Anyways, that's the whole backstory behind that album for me. Anyways, okay. We got maybe just a few things. Not a lot to get to before we get into the meat and potatoes of the episode, as they say. News Podwood Forecast. Just a reminder of that I have another podcast with my friend Mitchell. We talk about stuff that we like. That includes movies, music, video games. That's basically kind of it so far. We've always wanted to do a book episode, but that hasn't happened yet. But anyway, so our latest episode, we talked about our favorite films from 2023. So go check that out. And we're soon going to be working on an episode where we'll be talking about a video game franchise that we both grew up with and loved, and that was the Spyro video games. And we're going to be talking about like the original 3 that was on PS1. And we'll also talk about the Reignited trilogy that they came out with just a few years ago, and kind of comparing those. But yeah, so I'm excited to record that. I need to get on replaying some of those games. But yeah, so that's happening. Also, just a reminder to you guys, I make music, and I got a new song, Disentangled. Or no, Disentangle Me. Wow. What did I put the movie Tangled in there? I don't know. That's the sequel to Tangled, Disentangled. So yeah, Disentangle Me by Sherwood Forest. You can find it on all streaming platforms. And I just wanted to shout out Jesus Freak Hideout. I had asked for my song. I wanted to sponsor an episode and for them to play my song, and they did, and it was awesome. But also, my good buddy Chase Tremaine, who's been on the show, on this show, and he's the host for Jesus Freak Hideout podcast. He also said a few words about the YouTube channel at the beginning, which he really didn't have to, but thanks, Chase. I really appreciate it. It was really cool to be on that episode, the March Madness episode. Go check it out. Just go check out the March Madness episode. That's the one that my song is on. But their podcast is always so fun. It's one of the few podcasts where when I listen to it and I finish the episode and I'm like, I want more though. It's like, why'd you have to stop? Even though the episodes are probably like 2 hours, but I love it. It's good stuff. If you like what I do, talking about Christian music, Jesus Freak Hideout is definitely for you, or JFH podcast. But yeah, so thanks JFH podcast for having me on there. So Housekeeping, there's really only one thing to get to. I hope you guys enjoyed the Nick Gundy interview that I did in the last episode. Really appreciated having my good friend Nick on. We got a comment on the My Humble Opinion highlight video. In that video, I talked about Benjamin Daniels' new single, as well as his upcoming album. I reviewed the single and reminded everyone that the new album was coming out, and I was talking about the campaign for the album, and I wasn't sure if you could still like donate to that or not. And then David 8391 clarified to me. He says, "I do not believe you can back the campaign anymore. The album is set to release in July, though." So thanks, David, for clearing that up for me. I don't know anything, even though I am a backer myself. I just didn't know. Oh yeah, one other thing that in terms of housekeeping. So this little segment is going out to a supporter of mine. Because I need a little help. Someone tried to reach out to me, and I need a little help understanding what they were trying to say to me. So there's a little but strange backstory to you guys. So you guys know I have a other podcast, Podwood Forecast. We distribute our podcast through podcasters for Spotify. So basically through Spotify, and they distribute our podcast to all the other platforms. How that works, I don't really know. I just know that we used to go through Anchor, and then Spotify bought Anchor, and so they just still do the same thing that Anchor does. But one of the things that you can do is that fans can send voice messages through I think there's like a link in the description of our episode. We never like promoted that or anything, but it's a thing that you can do. And a fan did that through the Podwood Forecast podcast, but it seems like they were trying to get a hold of me, and they weren't really trying to get through the Podwood Forecast, because also I recognize this person from Rumble, which I have uploaded a few times to Rumble, and I just want to say I've been meaning to be more consistent with that. And I'm saying right now, this episode is going to go on Rumble. So if you guys are on Rumble, go support me on there. I'm Clifford today. From here on out, I'm going to be uploading to Rumble as well. Just because I want to support Rumble and what they do. And also, who knows what's going to happen on to me on YouTube. You know, all the sketchy things that I say, you know. But I know he's commented on a couple of my videos, and his name is Your Favorite Program. Your favorite program, if you're listening to this, I'm trying to reach out to you because I got your voice message, and these voice messages are kind of meant for the purpose of like sharing on the show. So as far as I know, this isn't like a private thing that I'm sharing right now, but I can't understand what you're saying on here because the audio quality is kind of weird. So I'm going to play it right now, and maybe some listeners can maybe decipher it for me. Yeah, so if you could just, I'm going to play your audio, and if you could just leave a comment on a video or something. I don't know if you can message on Rumble. But you know, like text or something that I can read, because for some reason the audio quality just wasn't great on this. So, but we're gonna play it real quick. Here we go.
Hey Clifford, just want to say that they've been found for Forecast in Sherwood, and was wondering if you could look at uh, obscure Russian records from 80s and 90s. And if you are, there is a place called C Records because when I live here, and I don't see a lot of people talk about it. Um, Thanks for what you do, and God bless.
Cool. Well, I got the end of that. Thanks. Your favorite program, and God bless you as well. But I'm sure as you can see or hear, it didn't come out quite as clear. I got some of that. I think re-listening to it, I think I heard something about obscure albums from the 80s and 90s, maybe, but I still didn't really get the most of the rest of it to really make sense of it. So if you could leave a comment on a video on Rumble, or if you actually are on YouTube, because it seems like you have watched me on YouTube before, you can leave a comment there and I'll see it. Because I want to hear what you're saying, and if you're leaving a suggestion, you know, I want to hear you out. So yeah, so that's about it. Sorry about that weird detour, everyone, but you know, my interaction with you guys is really important, especially now. I just want to reiterate, you know, especially since I'm not doing the live streams anymore, so I don't have chats, even though sometimes I didn't really have anyone watching in the chats. But but because of that, please leave comments, because I'm not really saying this because of like the algorithms or anything, or because it helps me out, but it's because I want to hear from you guys and I love connecting with you guys. So at any point, just leave a comment on a video, give me your thoughts on, you know, whatever we're talking about, or if you have questions or anything like that. I'm an open book. So yeah. Anyways, that's all for housekeeping. Let's get to the main topic for today. So, I always kind of thought that this would be an interesting thing to talk about Judah and the Lion. So, you guys have heard me talk about Judah and the Lion before. I've been a fan for a long time, actually. Well, I wouldn't say that I'm a super fan right now, but I can say that I've been listening to, I've known about Judah and the Lion even before, I want to say before their first album came out. It might have been, let's see, when did Kids These Days come out? That was their first full-length album. I know that, oh, come on, Spotify. Let's see, Kids These Days, according to Spotify, came out September 9th, 2014. So that would, yeah, okay. That tracks. So yeah, I've been a fan since just right about when this album came out, maybe even before. And my backstory with Judah and the Lion, at the time, I was in Nebraska. I was living in Nebraska temporarily. I was a student in a school of ministry called Master's Commission. Maybe you guys know about it. And me saying this also is not really any endorsement of maybe anything that you've heard about Master's Commission. I'm just saying that that's what I did for a year, for 9 months. I did 1 year in Master's Commission, and I will say that it was overall a great time. But I think I've relearned some things that I learned at Master's Commission. But that's neither here nor there. So one of the interesting things about Master's Commission is that, especially for first years, they have some pretty strict rules. One of those well, okay, let me name a few. So first year students cannot be alone in a room with someone of the opposite sex, which, that makes sense. I mean, understandable. And even then, though the culture kind of was like, if you were seen talking to a girl, they would kind of come up to you afterwards and be like, "Hey, so I saw you talking to so and so. What's going on with that?" So so yeah, it was interesting. We also could not watch anything R-rated. The worst we could watch was PG-13 movies. So I had to give up R-rated movies for a while. I think there was an exception for Passion of the Christ, but we never did watch that anyways while we were there. So yeah, no R-rated movies, and I'm sure you guys have guessed this, no secular music. So it was my childhood all over again. Only this time, by this time, I was, half the music I listened to was secular, so it was a bit of a stretch for me. Some people might say that, Master's Commission was maybe being a bit controlling, but in my opinion, you knew what you were signing up for. I knew what I was signing up for. I understood that those were the rules before I enrolled, and I accepted it, and I made it work. And one thing that I liked about that was that, well, yes, of course, I listened to a lot of Christian music at the time. It was something I was raised with, and of course, I have a passion for, and that's why I do the YouTube channel. But it was because of this period that I really pushed myself to discover more artists. And it was around this time that I discovered a lot of indie artists that I had not really listened to before. And so it was a really cool time in my life where I think I used Apple Music at the time. I can't remember if I used Spotify premium or not. It might have even been iTunes Radio, because I think it was the iTunes Radio that introduced me to, or I discovered a lot of different artists. And I would listen to the music mostly while I was, studying and, doing homework and such. One of those artists happened to be Judah and the Lion. And like I said, this was in their early days. And let me tell you, for those of you who have not dived deep into their discography or have not been fans for a long time, their music back in the day was a bit different than how it is now. They've definitely grown in their style, and they've definitely, evolved in their sound, which I always encourage. I think it's always cool. And I'm going to try my best for this episode not to be so much about like what, their old stuff was better, their new stuff is crap, because I like a lot of their new stuff. For me, Judah and the Lion has been a bit hit or miss for me lately. And I'll get into it. What I mean by that is that, when Judah and the Lion first started, they were strictly an indie folk band, more bluegrass kind of style, which that's still like prevalent in their music today, but it's more of kind of like an influence on the music rather than the main sound. Their sound has become more of a, I don't know, what would you like, indie rock influenced by bluegrass, because every once in a while you'll hear an acoustic guitar and a banjo, so it's like folk, rock, indie, but they have a little bit more of like an indie pop, indie pop kind of sound. So and I've watched them evolve into that sound over the years, but there's something about these the early days that is really close to my heart, and I really appreciate, because like I totally get why they would change their sound, because let's be honest, there's like a billion indie folk Christian bands out there. And Judah and the Lion were kind of like a part of this whole new movement back in the day. there was a bunch of indie folk artists that were coming up out of the weeds. You had Josh Garrels, you had the Oh Hellos. I don't know if the Oh Hellos would really consider themselves Christian now, but another band, Shell. A bunch of different folk Christian bands. And I think that Judah and the Lion, what they really wanted to do was to find their own new sound and distinguish themselves from all the other bands. And I noticed that as they kept coming out with new stuff, they started to implement more pop sounds, like drum machines, synthesizers, and eventually that just kind of overtook the sound. And so, but back in the day, they were pretty much strictly a bluegrass band, indie bluegrass, especially with their first 2 EPs. And that's what I'm going to talk about. Some of you Judah and the Lion fans probably don't know about their actual debut EP, not album, but it was an EP, their first studio release, because I remember it and I listened to it on the streaming platforms like Spotify, and I can't remember exactly what I was using, whether it was Spotify or iTunes. It might have been a combination of both, but I definitely remember this EP because a lot of fans might think that their first studio release was the Sweet Tennessee EP, which I also do love that EP. That's a great one. But there was something before that the reason why you probably don't know about it is because it's not available anywhere except for YouTube, which is what we're going to be listening to it on. But yeah, I've looked. It's not available on any streaming services. It's not available on iTunes or anything, or Amazon Music, anything like that. It's been, pretty much erased from all those platforms, except by, someone who uploaded them to YouTube. It's not even YouTube Music. It's just someone uploaded them to YouTube. And so I'm grateful for that because I'm glad that I'm able to go back to those and listen to those. But basically, this episode is going to be me wishing, verbally wishing that this was out on streaming platforms, or at least available to purchase. I mean, heck, I honestly, I couldn't even find anywhere to torrent it or anything, like download for free. Like maybe someone had uploaded it to somewhere for people to check out, but couldn't even find that. So YouTube will have to do so. But it looks like that we're getting to time for a break. So we're going to do that first, and then we're going to get into Judah and the Lion's EP, which, by the way, the title of it is First Fruits. So we're not going to listen to every song all the way through. I'm probably going to be mostly skipping through it. We'll see. But yeah, I think this is going to be interesting, and I think bring attention to something that was lost that maybe shouldn't have been, and hopefully introduce some, maybe some fans to something that they didn't know existed. So we'll see. I mean, people definitely know. I mean, these songs have views on them, but maybe you're a newer fan and you didn't know. So, or maybe the title for this episode was just clickbait. I don't know. Probably. All right. So we're going to take a little bit of a break. We have a special spotlight artist. Of course, all the spotlight artists are special, but this one is just another one of them. And, just a couple other things. But we'll be right back with Judah and the Lion's First Fruits. So don't go away. We'll be right back.
This time on the Podwood Forecast. Speaking of Chris Rock, the thing I sent you about the guy who directed Another Round, which was like a foreign film with Mads Mikkelsen. And
Yeah.
I guess Chris Rock is directing an American remake of it, and the guy who directed the original one was like, if that movie sucks, he's gonna get slapped again or something.
Which I
think is really funny. Who wants to
Just
watch
so
a Wonka
candy.
origin story and have the emotional ending and be like, look at Wonka. Oh my god, your chocolate.
Wonka.
He's making his chocolate factory. It's one of those dumb things you watch. It's like, oh, and the ending is like, I made my chocolate factory. It's like, I don't. I've seen the movie. You kill
wonder
children
how
in
this
this. Like,
ends.
I'm not excited for you to make this.
Does he die?
You're going to kill and torture children in this someday. Like, I don't. It was just weird. I'm like, Godzilla -1.
Some Japanese titles is just like, what?
I love
okay,
it.
whatever.
Yeah, I'm all about it.
Yeah. You Japanese.
It's like that with video games too. Like Kingdom Hearts 358 over 2 days. That's real. And I'm like, yeah, cool. That's awesome. Yeah.
Oh, whatever.
Here, I'll Google it for you.
Okay, yeah.
What is wrong with Michael J. Fox? Sorry. What was...
Listen to the Podwood Forecast wherever podcasts are found. Guys, I just got done with a video call interview for the show, and I have to say that it was like the smoothest experience ever. Didn't have any issues or anything, and the video came out almost perfect. And do you know why? It's because I used Riverside. Riverside is your online recording studio where you can record a conversation with any guest online. You can easily record podcasts and videos in studio quality from anywhere, all from your browser or their mobile app. All you have to do is get your setup ready, send your guests a link for them to join, have them join from their phone or their computer, and just chat away. A lot of podcasts that you listen to are probably using Riverside, honestly. What sets Riverside apart is that a recording of your audio and your video is happening locally on your computer. So even if your connection isn't that good, it doesn't ruin the entire recording or anything. Once you've finished recording, you will get the individual tracks of each speaker and also a combined one. You'll receive all the raw files, including that Pepsi crystal clear uncompressed audio in up to 4K video. There's also lots of really cool features where you can edit your video right in their site. So, if you're a YouTuber, a podcaster, or streamer, or a content creator of any kind, and you want to have high quality conversations with your guests, please use my link in the description and sign up for Riverside. If you want to support me and the channel, please use my link since I end up getting a cut from the sales. I'm not joking. Please support me. Sign up for Riverside and start recording today. Hey guys, thanks for watching or listening to the I'm Clifford Today show. Right now we're going to take a few minutes to listen to this week's spotlight artist, Outward Conversation, and their track entitled Exit 126. You can find their music on any platform you prefer, including Bandcamp, where you can purchase their music and support the artist directly. Links provided in the description of the episode.
We always talked about the fear of dying, but we never addressed the fear of being alive, at least not in the good times. Sometimes when I miss those late nights and pizza bites, I am convinced that we didn't really leave, at least not the way we thought we did. Maybe we still have controllers in hand and not a care in the world, and the rest of this is just a dream that came from the sugar rush that led to the inevitable sugar crash. The pushback of thinking this year may be the last year, or this weekend is all we have, because life moves on at the slowest pace, but we still find ourselves in different places. We still find ourselves as different people. Maybe we grew together like the phone call from your mom saying we need to turn around because she has Or maybe we grew apart because growing apart is just what happens when you don't choose the opposite. Heard your voice in so long, I would give anything for just one more reminder of what it sounds like.
If you're a Christian artist and would like to hear your music in the Spotlight segment, send an email to the address in the description of the episode.
Promises ring true, and I apologize for all the times I failed to believe in you. Your mouth will once again be filled with laughter, and your lips with shouts of joy.
And now, back to the show.
Okie dokie, artichoke. We are back with the I'm Clifford Today show. Thanks so much to Outward Conversation for supporting the show. And I was about to say sponsoring, but this is not the JFH podcast. Thanks for supporting the show and allowing us to share your awesome music. It's very I like the vibe of it. It's very old school. I love the mixture of the spoken word and the screaming. just reminds me of something that I definitely would have jammed to like back in 2012 or something. I mean, of course, I mean, I would listen to it now, but it sounds like something that would have come out back then. And I don't mean that as a bad thing. I'm just saying it's reminiscent of that. Please, am I digging myself into a hole? So we're going to get into Judah and the Lion, but I also forgot to mention something else that we're probably going to try to do if we have time. We are going to dive into the world of AI and get AI to rewrite classic Christian songs. More about that later, and I think it's going to be fun. So hopefully we'll have time to do it. I don't think we're going to be too long on this Judah and the Lion thing, but we'll see. We'll see if it takes up a whole episode. All right, let's change our screens. All right. Oh, and I had it opened up to kids these days. This is a good album, by the way. I think it gets a little overshadowed. I mean, I guess it does have millions of streams, but who knows if they even play any of these songs live. I guess 20-somethings and Kickin' the Leaves are big ones. So, but anyways, here's what we're gonna, and that's not even where we're. Okay, so just a recap, and we might get some ads on YouTube.
Hey all, Ryan Schwab of Schwab Digital. Welcome to Orange Clip. Orange Clip is a really special plugin to me because it fills a void.
I don't care. Only God can fill that void. Okay, so this is the actual album artwork. Yeah, I remember this. I remember this EP. Also thanks to Joshua Kemp for uploading this. It's got this first song has got 11K views, and it's got a few comments, but yeah, I just remember that moment of just like skipping through, just kind of listening to iTunes Radio on shuffle, and then songs from this EP came up. The Sweet Tennessee EP might have also come up, but yeah, and so I just remember really liking what I heard. I don't think I think Christian indie folk was a very new thing to me at the time. Like I loved like Mumford and Sons and a few other bands, but none of those other bands were Christian. So I was very happy to dive into this world of Christian folk music. And so Judah and the Lion was a part of that. So let's go ahead and I'm going to give my commentary and reviews on each of the tracks. But let's see how this goes. It's going to be fun. This song is called An Anthem of Invitation. It's the first track on the EP. Hopefully the audio levels are okay. Yeah, just strictly folk. Got acoustic guitar, got mandolin right there.
We long to see your face. We've come to sing your praise.
Got some cool percussion there.
Have your way. We long to see your face. We've come to sing your praise. Just come and have your way.
So we've got lyrics saying, we've come to see your face. We've come to, I forget what the lyrics were, but come and have your way. This is why a big reason why I wanted to talk about this EP, because I find it strange. So this might even be a shock to some Judah and the Lion fans. Some of you might be thinking like, wow, this is a lot more like Christian than I've ever really heard them, except for like Judah's solo stuff. But yeah, this was how Judah and the Lion started out. All of these tracks on this EP are very Christian, and I'm not even saying it in a bad way, because you know there's modern CCM out there where it's like too Christian, you know, if you understand what I'm saying. But No, and this is a very worshipful song, and a lot of these songs are. And it kind of makes me wonder, like, what happened? You know? And I'm not even really complaining because, like, I liked a lot of their stuff. Like, after this, Sweet Tennessee was noticeably less overtly Christian, but, I didn't mind that. I don't think that Christian artists always have to be, singing that, writing about that kind of stuff. If they wanted to talk about more relational stuff, more day-to-day life kind of stuff, that's perfectly okay too. But it just kind of makes me wonder, because this EP is pretty much nowhere to be found. And it's the most Christian thing that the band has released. Now, granted, Judah, the lead singer, has, his own solo stuff, and he's a lot more expressive about his faith on there. And a lot of the songs are just as worshipful as these. But it just kind of makes me wonder why it doesn't seem like Judah and the Lion as a band really want to write songs like that anymore, in any of their new stuff. Like, yeah, a lot of it's like very positive, but it's all pretty much very generic in terms of like the audience that they're trying to get. Like, a Christian could enjoy it, unless they're offended by some of the cussing they've had as of late. But yeah, it just kind of makes me wonder, but we're gonna keep listening after I sneeze. Oh, okay. Excuse me. All right, let's keep listening.
We long to see your face. We've come to sing your praise. Just come.
It's a very simple song. It just kind of has this simple repeated line.
Just have your way.
And then it goes into have your
Just
way.
have your way. Just have your way. Just
I'll
have
bring the volume
your
down just a
way.
little bit.
Just have your way.
Want to make sure you guys can hear me. Not sure if you can. That should be okay.
We long to see your face.
So that's basically what the first song is. Very simple, an anthem of invitation. That's what it's called. Very worshipful. If you were like in some sort of hipster church that had like a folk band as their worship band, it would fit right in. I'm sure some churches have, if your worship leader was like a Judah and the Lion fan, he's probably like, oh dude, guys, we gotta play this song. I'm sure that would have happened. But let's move on to this to the next track, Lift Up My Soul. We got an ad. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I hate YouTube so much. I hate what YouTube did to ad block. I used ad block all the time, and then all of a sudden YouTube pulls this crap where it overrides what ad block does. So now I can't block any of the ads on YouTube, and it's really annoying, and I hate them for that. So anyways, Lift Up My Soul. And this has a lot more like kind of energetic beginning to it. It's a lot of fun.
I feel it in my bones. This love runs deep inside my soul. I want to lose control. So lost in love that I'll let it all go.
So yeah, just continuing those themes of very worshipful and and this song has like even more views than the first one, so, which makes sense. It's a lot more upbeat. This would have been perfect to open up a worship set with this song, get everyone all pumped up and everything. I was also thinking like, man, I would doubt it that I'm gonna get like copyright stricken for this, because these songs aren't anywhere to be found really. So I don't know how I would get copyright stricken. So we can listen to as much as we like, and not have any problems. So skip ahead. That's basically the gist of the song. It's very fun, very lively and upbeat. Very reminiscent of like Mumford and Sons with like the 4 on the floor kick and everything. It's a lot of fun. Let's skip ahead to this next track, Fill This House.
Holy Spirit, come and fill this house up.
And right off the bat, I just wanted to say, because I used to listen to, I listened to a little bit of Brian and Katie Torwalt. Actually, the song that I'm thinking about was also later adapted by Jesus Culture, I think. But they had a song called Holy Spirit, and it sounded very similar to this. It's like, Holy Spirit, you are welcome here. So it's very similar, but not quite. Close, but not quite. I don't know which came first, that song or this song. I don't know.
Let your love fall like a fire, consume us, Lord. Come, Lord Jesus, let your rain fall on us. In your presence, come and change our hearts to yours.
Firstly, I want to say, this is kind of like off the side of, just talking about Judah and the Lion. But firstly, this song kind of tells me that Judah and the rest of the band, they probably had a background in being in a charismatic church or Pentecostal, because it's basically only these kinds of songs that have this kind of lyricism. And I consider myself Pentecostal, but I've kind of changed my attitude on a few things when it comes to the charismatic side of the church. I don't know what to do about songs that have lyrics like Holy Spirit, you're welcome here, come fill this place. First of all, and I'm gonna sometimes I feel like I'm a cross between John MacArthur and Bill Johnson. Not really Bill Johnson. When it comes to being a Pentecostal, I kind of I relate more to Mike Winger. If you ever watch Mike Winger on YouTube, he's the kind of charismatic that I consider myself. But the thing is that when you're saying like Holy Spirit, come and fill this place, like the Holy Spirit's already there. You don't have to welcome him. He's not there, and then all of a sudden you say like, hey, come here and come here. and then he is there. So that no longer really makes sense to me. But the thing is that songs like that are so prevalent in charismatic church. And it's, I don't know what to do with lines like come and like consume me. And it's just verbiage that is not found in the Bible. Now, don't get me wrong. I believe in being filled with the Holy Spirit and like speaking in tongues and such. But I think it's the attitude with songs like these, because I do feel like, especially in the places that I used to attend, I feel like that there is way too much emphasis on the experience and the event of like being filled with the Holy Spirit and like speaking in tongues and yada yada. Rather than like what the Holy Spirit does in us daily. And so, yeah, so I just kind of have a problem with that. You know, this is like the one song that I'm going to be critical of when it comes to I just wanted to go on a little rant. You know, it doesn't really have anything to do with Judah and the Lion, but they wrote this song, and so they just have one of these songs in this EP. So that just tells me how, you know, what kind of church they probably grew up in. So
we've come to bring glory. We've come to bring praise. We've come to bring honor to your holy name.
See, I like that. I like lines like that. Like, we've come to bring glory, we've come to bring honor, we've come to bring you praise, basically. So I like that. It's less about the gimme, and more like we've come to praise you, we've come to give you worship. So I like that.
We've come to dance. We've come to sing.
Some Baptists, I feel like, probably wouldn't like the dancing part, but you know.
We've come to encounter Jesus, our King.
I like the build up.
Holy Spirit, come and fill this house up.
So yeah, basically it's you know, they go back into those lines and keeps going.
I desire you and you alone. Living fire, come and overflow. I desire you and you alone. Living fire, come and overflow.
That's something that is also reminiscent in a lot of charismatic modern worship, is just kind of the build up bridges. But yeah, you know, I'm not going to be too picky, but that's about all we'll listen to of that song. But it's just one of the songs where I just like maybe had a few nitpicks, you know, but I totally get it. It's just kind of part of the culture. In fact, I'm completely surprised that, like, when I was in Master's Commission, that I didn't like, because there are sometimes where I had the opportunity to lead worship. I'm surprised that I didn't try to learn this song, or, you know, try to teach them this song. This next one is probably my favorite of the bunch. It's called Torn Apart. After this ad of the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare. No. There. I also wanted to point out there is a female voice in here. I don't know if maybe she was originally part of the band, or even who. I wonder if it's maybe Judah's ex-wife. I don't know. There's no way for me to find the credits for this EP. And of course, as most Judah and the Lion fans know, the band has trimmed down somewhat. They like started out with like 4 guys, and now they're down to 2. So there's probably been a lot of changing of the lineup over the years. So
Slave, now I have been set
basically a song talking about the gospel, you know, and salvation. And I like it. I'll let it play a little more. I'm gonna find the chorus because it's a good. Oh, here we go.
Torn apart, you paid my price. The wrath of God was satisfied, and I traded sin. You gave me life. My hope is found on Jesus Christ.
Yeah, so very straightforward. Just, you know, just singing about the gospel, and I love the lyrics. I think it's like torn apart, you paid the price. The wrath of God was satisfied. It's great, very solid theologically, and I would totally worship to that today. That's all I just wanted to kind of brag on that song. It's a really good one. This next one is actually the last one, the last track in the EP, and it's called 100 Miles. This is also a good one from what I remember. It's also a longer one, so we'll definitely not be playing all of it.
Bless the Lord, oh my soul. Sing praise to Him and alone. Bless the Lord, oh my soul. Sing praise with me, you heavenly host.
So yeah, it just kind of builds up as it goes along.
I can't help myself. 'Cause there is no one else like you, God.
So yeah, it just goes on. I'm just gonna skip ahead. Oh my soul. Yeah, it just builds up and it keeps crescendoing. And it has a bridge, I know, at some point. Yeah. You know, I wonder. I'm gonna look something up as we listen to this. Okay, so
3, 1,
Sorry, I didn't know. I forgot. Okay, so what I was looking up, I was wondering, I'm like, hey, I wonder maybe Judah like recreated any of these songs for his solo work, but I didn't see anything. I wanted to make sure that I wasn't a complete idiot and didn't know, like, hey, he did 100 Miles for his last album. I didn't think that he did, so that's basically the whole EP. I'm sorry if I annoyed anyone by like stopping the music. Go check it out. Go to YouTube and look up Judah and the Lion First Fruits. There's a playlist there, and everything. So, but I hope you guys liked it. And I just here I'll switch over to the other camera. Again, I just wonder, like, why this EP is nowhere to be found. And I'm going to try not to insinuate anything, but I guess what I'm really trying to say is Judah and the Lion. I guess there's two of them now, so I guess there's Judah, and then the other one is the Lion. No, because I'm sure God is supposed to be the Lion. But hey, please put this back up somewhere to be found. I mean, I don't know if there's like any tough history involved in it, because like I assume that Judah is still a believer. I know it just based off of Judah and the Lions, some of their more recent songs, and even like some of Judah's solo stuff. It seems like he's struggling, and that's okay. We all struggle, and I'm struggling too. And I'm not trying to point out Judah as if he's like worse than all of us. It's just that I guess Judah is being a lot more vocal and expressive about the things that he's going through, and some people probably are complaining about some of the swearing that's in some of the music. I've said before, swearing doesn't really offend me, but I will say that sometimes when Judah and the Lion, when they have cussing in their music, it seems really forced and unnecessary. But that's kind of subjective and maybe a case by case basis, but it just seems like they're, I don't know what. I don't know if it's like an issue with whatever label they're with right now, that they're like, hey, you can't do any of this like overtly Christian stuff, or maybe it's an in-band thing. Maybe the other, well, I guess there's only two now, but one of the other members, maybe he's not a Christian so much anymore, and so Judah just kind of keeps it generic for most people. Hopefully it's not like a money or fame and popularity kind of thing where they feel like that they can't be as Christian as they used to, or they'll lose their audience. I don't think it's that, because Judah has no problem singing about it in his solo music, which granted it's not the same thing, but Judah and the Lion fans are most likely going to know about his solo stuff. So I don't know. I don't know why they're if they're embarrassed about this EP. I don't think they should be. There's only like one track that might be a little cringe. I don't know, but not everyone's going to feel like that. I'm sure there are plenty of Pentecostals that would love that song. But here's the other thing that I wanted to add to it. There's something else that was in this playlist. It's not a part of the EP, but so back in like 2015, I want to say, Judah and the Lion was on Audio Tree. And if you don't know what Audio Tree is, they're kind of like Tiny Desk concert sessions, but they're like full band and full studio and everything. I've watched plenty of Judah and Audio Tree live sessions that were awesome, and I was really excited when Judah and the Lion was on there. But they did.
Hey, what is up, Transformers fans?
Shut up, Chris. Chris Hemsworth. Yeah. They did 100 Miles. They did one song off of this EP. All the other music they did was from either, I think, the Sweet Tennessee EP or Rich Kids. But they decided to do this song, 100 Miles. It was the only song they did off of First Fruits. And they, which is surprising because it is so overtly Christian. But here, I'll just kind of go through it. It doesn't sound as great as their studio session, but it does have like drums and more synth in it. So a little bit closer to what they sound like now, just a little bit. Yeah, skip ahead. This is cool. This is a lot of fun to watch. Oh, I just realized I hope I don't get like copyright stricken by Audio Tree. I could. So hopefully not. But yeah, anyways, so why I bring this up is like, yeah, they picked one song from First Fruits EP. What Audio Tree does sometimes, well, most of the time, yeah, and I don't know if they've always done this, but they've done it for a long time. They release the sessions on streaming platforms. They on Spotify, most especially because, you know, I'm on Spotify, but, and I'm gonna have to go back. You can go to their artist profile on Spotify, go to their singles and EPs, and you can go all the way down. And of course, yeah, it's saying that Sweet Tennessee is the first one, but it wasn't. Then the next one is the Audio Tree session. See anything there that's a little strange? 100 Miles is not on the track list. The video's still up on YouTube, but sorry, there I go again with pneumonia. But for some reason on Spotify, it's not there. So what gives? You know, I really hope. I'm really trying to, you know, not hope for, not assume the worst. But I guess I just want to take this moment to say that, like, I really wish that Judah and the Lion would still make stuff like this. Maybe not stylistically. I like the new sound for the most part, but I just don't know why they got to shy away from stuff like this, because it definitely seems that they're shying away from this EP. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on. You know, we've talked about. I've talked before on this channel of how, like, sometimes there are artists that, you know, they decide not to be like an overtly Christian band, but they are Christians themselves, but they decide that they want to reach out to a wider audience. And so they keep their music not as overtly Christian. But there are some cases where you do that and you step foot in more of the secular world, and you can start to lose your soul in that way. And I'm not saying that that's the case for these guys, but I'm just saying, you know, I just have some concerns as to why this EP basically no longer exists in a sense, and why their music is so different as to, like they can't sing about God anymore, that Judah has to go to his solo stuff and sing about it there. And maybe it is the case that it's more of a kind of in-band personal thing where one of them doesn't really want to do that anymore because it's not a part of who they are, and you know what? That's fine. And I'm still gonna, listen to Judah and the Lion and listen to any of their new stuff and pay attention to them. But I just kind of wish that they would go back to stuff like this. It's nice and it's refreshing, and especially like songs like Torn Apart that are just like so theologically sound. And I really do wish, like I said, I'm not offended by language usually, but I kind of wish that they would do a little bit less of that. I don't know what they're going through, so let's be in prayer for them, because sometimes it does seem like that they release so much stuff, and Judah is usually so open about like what he's going through. Sometimes it's just like, man, are you okay? So I don't know. I don't really know what I'm trying to say. If anything, I hope that I introduced you guys to something that was interesting and something that was fun to listen to. And if you were a Judah and the Lion fan, maybe I did introduce you to something that you didn't know existed. So now you can go to YouTube and you can get a MP3 YouTube downloader and download this on your computer or phone and listen to it that way, because you're definitely not going to be able to listen to it through Spotify. But hey, so hopefully I introduced you to something cool. So that's what I hope. So I just thought it was something interesting to talk about and to bring up. So if y'all, and hey, if there's any fans out there that like maybe do have a bit more insight as to what's going on and why this EP isn't available anymore, or why 100 Miles isn't a part of the Spotify audio tree session, just let me know. So reach out, leave a comment, either way, if you get what you guys' thoughts on the EP were on Judah and the Lion and the whole situation. I think it's fun. So speaking of fun, so I wasn't sure what else I was going to talk about on this episode for a little while, but I stumbled upon something recently. So today we're going to get into the world of AI, and now it's a controversial topic today. I just want to get it out there, just my thoughts on AI and like AI art and all that. I don't really like what's going on. I don't like the fact that people are using AI in place of actual humans who are passionate about art. I don't like the idea of what the future could be. I don't like the idea of AI written scripts or AI just fully generated movies. I don't like that idea, and I don't like the idea of AI generated music. But that's what we're going to be doing today, because here's the other thing. Here's the other side of it, is that I do actually love AI, but because so what I'm trying to say is like there used to be a time when like all this AI stuff was like very new, but it was funny because AI couldn't really do anything that was good, but it was at least funny. Like you get AI to try to write something or make something, and it usually ended up being very hilarious. I was just listening to an old Podwood Forecast episode. Well, not old, like a couple years old, a few years old. And I used this thing that was kind of popular called Talk to Transformer, where you would put in a sentence and let AI finish it. And it was usually two very funny results. And so I had it write a couple stories about me and my friend Mitchell, and I read it on the podcast, and we had a lot of laughs. And that's what I miss about AI. And we're quickly getting out of that, where like the creepy Will Smith video of Will Smith eating spaghetti. Like, I love that stuff. It's so funny. And also, I will also clarify that I think AI can be used as a tool.
just as long as it's being used as a tool and not a replacement, because, you know, you can use ChatGPT to help you get out of like a creative slump and get more inspired, just as long as that's what it's being used for and not as a cop out. Stuff like that. Using AI, I heard of, I just did a photo session with a photographer, and she was talking about how sometimes she uses AI in like Photoshop and such to help fill things out. And like, I think that's totally okay. Just as long as it's not, like I said, a replacement for, you know, because being a creative myself, I'm very passionate about it. So, but I found something that I think is still in the realm of like funny and amusing and entertaining, because what this is that I don't think it's going to be, it's still not a replacement for actual humans. But so there is this website called Suno.com, and basically, I mean, it is incredible how far we've come in with AI. But basically, all you really have to do is just like give a song description of for it to write a song and generate a song for you. And it's kind of good, but in a way still like cute. AI is still learning how to make a song, you know, but with like surprising results. So today what we're going to do, and I actually already have some couple of songs, one or two already generated for us to listen to. So what we're going to do is that I'm going to think of classic Christian songs and like give that same concept to Suno and have it recreate it, and we'll see what the results are. Because already I basically had it rewrite Breakfast by Newsboys. I told it, what did I tell it? Write a funk 90s. No, I said funk alternative rock, because I already tried the 90s alternative rock and it didn't do it that well. But I said, write a funk alternative rock about about how there's no breakfast in hell. That's what I said, because you can't give a particular artist to sound like, because it considers that copyright or something. But anyways, so I thought that this result was pretty interesting, so I wanted you guys to listen along to it. So here is Suno's version of Breakfast by the Newsboys, and they titled it Breakfast in Hell.
In this twisted world,
and here's the lyrics on the side if you want to hear it.
I woke up one day and I was serving time in hell, but there's something strange missing. It's hard to tell. No matter how I scream and yell, they don't serve breakfast in hell.
So first of all, that's kind of good. I like that last line where it's like, they don't serve breakfast in hell. But also, are you guys weirded out right now? Is this too weird how like they just generated this song in minutes? And it almost, not quite really, it's like in that uncanny valley, but it almost sounds like an actual song. And it's like not terrible, you know? Also, a forewarning, I'm going to bleep it out, but they did end up putting one curse word in this song, but it's later on. But man, it's just so interesting. But yeah, it's going to come in strong pretty soon. So
The demons dance with the wicked grin, but when I asked for pancakes, they just laughed instead.
when I asked for pancakes, first of all, that doesn't make any sense. They just laughed in sin. What does that mean? We're sinning as we laugh. AI. Anyways, let's keep going.
I'm craving bacon and eggs, a heavenly spell.
breakfast in hell. Here comes the curse word. I like that part where it says, I'm longing for it, and then the background vocals come in and say, feast. It's, I'm kind of enjoying it. Dwell, but it's an eternal hunger spell. They don't serve breakfast in hell. And then you've got a guitar solo here. Anyway, we're not going to play that one. There was a second one that used the same lyrics, but I didn't find the music as interesting. But isn't that crazy? Like, it's almost quite there, but not quite. Very catchy. It's like someone could take ideas from this song and make a good song. It has a almost kind of like Arctic Monkeys kind of feel to it, which is not very 90s, but you know. So that was Breakfast in Hell, a reimagined version of Breakfast. Of course, no mention of God. But you know, it's just a fun, quirky Newsboys song. Okay, so I haven't really planned this, but I had a few ideas of what I wanted it to do. These are going to be my live reactions to this, but let's try to make it do Shine, you know, as long as we're on Newsboys right now. So let's see, 90s pop song. Yeah, I'd say 90s pop song about letting our light shine for God. Let's see how theologically sound it is. So, and there's going to be two versions for some reason it does two versions. Gonna have to give it a second. I'm so excited. Shine for Eternity is seems to be the title. That's what it's come up with. All right, let's give it a listen to this first song. Gather round, listen to my tale. That's not Peter Furler or John James. Gather round, listen to my tale. About a light that never fails. It's a story about eternity. Let your soul be forever free. When the night is oh so dark, don't be afraid. Just embark on a journey to a shining star. This doesn't really sound like a 90s pop song. It sounds more like something that would play in the credits of like a Disney animated movie that would come out today, you know? Like everyone's leaving the theater, but this song is playing over animated credits and such. The love of God, heal the scars. Let our light shine for eternity. Together we'll make history. We'll spread love, peace, and unity. Let our light shine for eternity. Let our light shine for eternity. Okay, so it's just going to repeat the chorus. Oh. Oh, I guess it didn't really... I think it's run out of ideas. Oh. Oh, that's it. Okay. Oh, okay, so here's the male version. First of all, the verses didn't really talk a whole lot about, like, well, first of all, it didn't really talk about being dull as dirt and hamsters and barbecuing hamster and such, but it also didn't really talk a lot about like actually spreading the gospel. Like the verses seemed like it was more about like not being afraid of the dark, and then the chorus was like, oh, let's show peace and love and unity and whatever. It's like, okay, I guess that's kind of more along the lines, but whatever. It's AI. You can't really expect them to know everything about theology. Let's hear this other version. So it's going to be the same lyrics, but let's hear what this one sounds like.
About a light that never fails. It's a story about eternity. Let your soul be forever free. When the night is so dark, don't be afraid, just embark.
Well, I wanted more of a dance pop. Maybe I should have said dance pop song. This is more of a ballad. I don't like it.
On a journey to a shining star, let the love of God heal the scars. Let our light shine for eternity.
Okay, this is definitely very 90s. Not really 90s pop like I wanted, but this is like, I believe I can fly. If I had my iPhone still, I would do that. I would put the light on. Okay.
We'll make history. We'll spread love, peace, and unity. Let our light shine for eternity.
See, sometimes the AI doesn't really know how to implement the lyrics with the instrumental, because like it sounded like that they were going to keep on singing, but they hadn't written more of the song, and so they're like, oh, we're suddenly going to change to this other part of the song.
Let our light shine for eternity.
Oh, nice, beautiful conclusion. That was a lot more 90s, but still not quite what I wanted, but whatever. Let's move on to something else. Let's try and get it to make Jesus Freak. Once again with the 90s. How would you describe Jesus Freak? Grunge / like grunge rock / hip hop, I guess, or rap. I put rap probably. The 90s grunge rock / rap song about being a Jesus freak. This should be fun. I haven't heard it do rap yet, so we'll see how that goes. Holy Rebellion is the working title for this song. Rap, grunge, rock. Okay. Oh, also they also generate art. AI generate. Oh, I guess you can't really see it. I'll move me for a second. Some art there in the corner. Very nice. All right. Let's hear Holy Rebellion.
Walking through the streets, filled with anger and disgust. A Jesus freak, they call me, misunderstood by the world. I'm on a mission, a holy rebellion through the night. Questioning beliefs, seeking truth, ready to fight.
Questioning beliefs? What? Bro, what kind of confidence is that? What? It's like, I'm on a mission, doubting what I'm going through. I'm deconstructing as I share my Okay, interesting. Also, this isn't sounding very 90s. It sounds pretty modern. Well, I guess they didn't include the 90s stuff. I guess you can't really be too particular about the era that it's from. We'll call this is like the brand new, like, this is the Newsboys Jesus Freak with KJ52. Wait, did it say it says in the grunge of the city? What? Where the shadows dance with pain? What is going on? But in my heart, Jesus is the one that I paint. Okay. What? Got my ripped jeans on, flannel wrapped around my soul. I'm a walking contradiction, trying to keep control. Music's my salvation. I feel like this was supposed to be a rap verse. My sanctuary in this mess. Loud guitar riffs and rhymes help me confess. It's not quite a man with a tat on his big fat belly, but it's something. Oh, interesting. Interesting outro. Oh, okay. This one's going to be a lot more intense. Same lyrics, by the way, just different sound. Oh, this is the rap part, I guess. I knew it was going to be confusing. It's just like, how do you say like a grunge rock song with rap in it? It's like, I wanted to make sure I got that in there. Yeah, sometimes like the lyrics, like how they sing it, is just it's just not working with the timing of the instrumental. I'll confess. Okay, they ran out of lyrics, so. Lay jelly. Took me a while to catch what it said, 'cause I had to match the rhythm of his belly with my head. This is more punk than grunge. Why do they keep repeating the word confess? Well, that was something. That was not good. That's not what I wanted at all. Okay. Well, let's do a couple more at least. Maybe Big House by Audio Adrenaline. That's a classic Christian song. Let's see. I'm not gonna say the 90s thing anymore. A funky rock song about going to heaven and it being like a big house. I mean, I think that works. Also, I don't understand how some of these don't have choruses. They don't write choruses, just verses. All right. Hopefully this makes sense to them. Heaven's Mansion. Okay. That's close enough, I guess. That's like the version where they're not trying to get copyright stricken or accused of plagiarism. It's not Big House, it's Heaven's Mansion. All right, looks like this first one is they're both ready. So, let's hear it.
I'm climbing up the stairway to a better place. Ain't no street signs, it's divine embrace. The air is thick with rhythm, guitars ringing my soul. I'm knocking on heaven's door, gotta reach my goal. Step into heaven's mansion, walls made of solid gold. There's a funky groove, a story yet untold.
There's a funky groove, story yet untold. I like this.
Every room is rocking, the party's never done. We're jamming all together, united as one. Heaven's mansion,
Oh, here's the chorus.
big house in the sky. Gonna sing, gonna dance, gonna fly so high. Heaven's mansion, where the music never dies. Got my guitar in hand.
I got my guitar. I mean, this ain't Big House. This ain't Audio Adrenaline, that's for sure. But it's not bad. It kind of reminds me of something that like Planet Shakers would do. It's got that like very detailed guitar riffs and such, and just instrumentation.
Heaven's mansion, where the music never dies. Got my guitar in hand, gonna reach for the skies.
They only sang half the chorus. They didn't start the beginning. Interesting. Okay, that's probably got to be the best one so far. You know what? I've changed my mind on AI. I'm okay if they take over and make more music like this. Just kidding. It's still kind of in that uncanny valley zone, but it's interesting. You could turn that into a song. But okay, let's hear this second version.
Climbing up the stairway to a better place. Ain't no street signs, it's divine embrace. The air is thick with rhythm, guitars ringing my soul. I'm knocking on heaven's door, gotta reach my goal. Step into heaven's mansion, walls made of solid gold. There's a funky groove, a story yet untold. Every room is rocking, the party's never done. We're jamming all together, united as one. Heaven's mansion, a big house in the sky. Gonna sing, gonna dance, gonna fly so high.
Oh, I like that. Gonna sing, gonna dance. Interesting.
Heaven's mansion, where the music never dies. Got my guitar in hand, gonna reach for the skies.
guitar solo there. Well, we had a drum solo, now a guitar solo. That was fun too. I think I like the other one better though. Okay. So far we're 2 for 3. 2 for 4. Or no, the Shine one wasn't bad. Anyways. Okay, so that made me think of like because it was kind of very heavy metal. And since everyone is talking about this, let's try to get it to make To Hell with the Devil by Stryper. Okay, so an 80s heavy metal song about sending the... Oh wait, no, let's be more specific. About God casting the devil into hell. It's on my mind because there's that whole thing with the Lecrae and For King and Country, and I haven't really talked about it, but I don't really care either way. But okay, so let us dilly-dally no further. This is probably going to be epic. Infernal Conquest. What is that? That makes no sense. Infernal Conquest. Ooh. Hold on. We got to look at this this album artwork. Take a look at... Oh, my mouse is over here. Take a look at that. That's pretty cool. Whatever's going on in there. All right. Let's give Infernal Conquest a listen. Oh, they pronounce those last two words really weird, but like, what the heck? That's pretty accurate. Maybe not to Stryper specifically, but just like to 80s metal. They got the vocals down on point. Oh, they skipped some lyrics. Wait. Were those gang vocals there? Oh, it won't let me go back. This is kind of awesome. See where it's gonna go. Oh. Oh, wow. Okay. That tom fill was just not necessary. They didn't have to go so hard, but they did. That was kind of great. Man, yeah. I'm all for AI taking over all the music now. Just kidding. I'm not serious. I want to hear that. and it's a pretty good chorus too. Oh, that was it. I love those gang vocals. All right, let's hear the second version. Oh. The timing's a bit off with the lyrics on this one, but still not bad. Oh, I like this instrumental. Another guitar solo. Dang, if anything, just if anyone wants to steal anything from this song, it should just be that guitar solo. Oh man. Oh, okay. We're just gonna call it good. I wanted to do more, but I don't know. Maybe in the future. Let me guys know if you want more of that. Or you can just go to suno.com. It sounds like an ad, but it's not. I promise. I actually have the paid version because there's only so many credits that you can use, and so yeah, whatever. I guess I'm funding our artificial intelligence takeover, but whatever, it is what it is. So yeah, that was AI's attempt to recreate classic Christian songs. Somewhat successful, but not all the way, and definitely none of them as good as the originals. Although, I'm going to give a hot take. I've never really cared that much about To Hell with the Devil or Stryper, really. Not really my thing. But I understand Stryper is a very important band. Don't come at me with pitchforks or anything. I'm not saying anything against them. Just saying it wasn't really my thing. So, but I totally get the love for them. Okay, so we're almost done today, but we're going to real quick do some of I'm going to share some of my humble opinion. So that's what we're going to do. Got a lot of albums. I mean, all these are albums that we're going to talk about. And again, I'm behind with some of these releases because I'm behind. So I'm catching up. But I feel like I'm finally catching up now. So firstly, this was released around Easter time, but Meadows finally released their full album, Familiar with Pain. And so talked about Meadows when they released the EP, shorter version of this album. Meadows, there's some really great guys. They were in my What Is Audio Feed documentary, and they make great music, great heavy metal music. And with this album, it's really great. I gotta say that. So first of all, the album starts off really strongly with the first track, with some clean vocals, clean layered vocals. And very worshipful as well, which, by the way, the concept for this album is that it's supposed to be written about Jesus' last hours before his crucifixion. But The Innocence of Silence is an awesome opening track. The following track, Fury for the Taking, is just a bop. Some really strong tracks on here that really bend the genre of heavy metal. They try some different stuff on here. I will say, first listen, I got a little, and this is just me, this has nothing to do with the album, but like I felt like I was getting a little bored near the middle, but then I re-listened to it again and I appreciated it so much more. It's very heavy hitting, and it's got a great blend of heavy hitting tracks along with some creative liberties that they take with some of the tracks, especially like the opener, and they got the closer, My God Is Strong, which was hardly even a metal song. It's more of like a soulful worship song featuring Hayden Creel on vocals, and I don't know, it's just it's really good, and I've been really enjoying jamming along to it. Other great tracks are, of course, the lead single Barabbas, Silence of Innocence, What Is Truth, Heavy Eyes, some really great stuff. So if you guys just want a new hardcore band to get into, definitely check out Meadows, Familiar with Pain. It's good stuff, and also just some really good spiritual theological lyrics. It's really good. So Familiar with Pain by Meadows.
With the heart that's full, stronger than before, ironclad with purpose.
Next up, we've got Erase by the Rocky Valentines. Now, I've talked about the Rocky Valentines before with some previous EPs and singles, but now they finally have the full-length album out, Erase. Rocky Valentines is the brainchild of Charles Martin, son of Jason Martin from Starflyer 59 and nephew of Ronnie Martin from Joy Electric. So big musical family. And what we have here is an excellent shoegaze indie rock album. I think that's how you would classify it, with lyrics written from the perspective of a 20-year-old. At least that's what I gathered from his lyrics. I believe he's 20. He's at least in his early 20s. In these songs, Charles savors his young years while dealing with the struggles of growing up. They're all really fun songs with great mixing as well. Charles records all the guitars, drums, and vocals. He just had another guy play bass. And I think Jason Martin, his dad, helped produce it. And I imagine it's going to be the perfect summer album. I can't wait to see Charles expand his style and grow from where he's at. But this is a really solid start. Just some good old indie rock shoegaze jams. So go check out, for sure, Erase by the Rocky Valentines. Next up, we have maybe something that's might be a bit of a controversial pick, but I'm just going to go ahead and do it anyways because I don't know if many other like Christian reviewers would talk about this artist. But I have before, and you guys should know him because he had a hit single that took the country by a storm. It's Oliver Anthony and his new album, Hymnal of a Troubled Man's Mind. And I decided I wanted to talk about it because, hey, he professes to be a Christian, and, he may be new and he may not be perfect. I mean, who is? But it seems like he's really trying to grow in his faith and who he is. And so if you guys don't know, if you guys were living under a rock last year, But Oliver Anthony, he released that song, Richmond, North of Richmond. And yeah, it was quite the bit of controversy and debate, and just kind of put him in this new spotlight that he didn't expect. I know he didn't, because he talked about it in interviews and such. But he has finally released a whole album. And I wanted to talk about it because, yes, he professes to be a Christian, and there is a lot of Christian elements to this album, because this album is exactly as it advertises itself in the title. It is a hymnal from the mind of a troubled man. Now, not necessarily Oliver Anthony, but we'll get into that. But I forgot. Oliver Anthony is not even his real name. I don't remember what his real name is, but Oliver Anthony is a complete stage name. But the genius of this album is that you have tracks littered throughout the album of Oliver Anthony reading scripture with no commentary or music, just straight up reading scripture. I mean, you can hear like birds singing in the background and such, but that's basically all it is. And then it just goes into the next song. And then to juxtapose those tracks of him reading the scriptures, we have songs about alcoholism, depression, financial trouble, and politics. It just seems intentional, you know. Many of these songs seem to be written from the perspective of a character who is bogged down by all of those issues, you know, the alcoholism and depression and such, and is struggling to find purpose in life, while the scriptures that Oliver is reading are providing the answer, basically. So it's a genius album that has excellent production, rather than being treated with the usual solo guitar and voice we're used to from Oliver Anthony, you know, because he had mostly those live recordings of his songs. We get a full band production, but I love the way it's all arranged and mixed, because it still feels like what we're used to from Oliver Anthony, because the extra instrumentation is very minimal. It doesn't go overboard. I mean, you'll have like a violin or a cello, and you'll have some drums and maybe some electric guitar and bass, but it doesn't become like too much. And I also just love the way it's mixed. It kind of sounds like that he's recording it in like some big warehouse or something, you know, just like that room reverb that just sounds great. But I love this album. It's got some really catchy songs with some hard-hitting lyrics. I mean, it's the same guy who wrote Richmond, North of Richmond, but I also appreciate how a lot of these songs tell more of a story of a character rather than Oliver Anthony just complaining about the country, which I don't mind that either, of course, but it just paints a picture of someone who is trying to live in God's grace, but is struggling. And I find it very relatable and human-like, you know? So I think it's a perfect title to the album, Hymnal of a Troubled Man's Mind. So I would recommend it, but I also want to preface this, and this is probably another reason why this would be a controversial pick, but there's some minimal language in there. So if you're offended by that, don't listen to it. Don't listen to it around your kids or anything. There's a little bit, and it's not even enough for any of these songs to be flagged by Spotify to be explicit, but for a Christian, they are, you know. Some of them, not even all of them. It's not even like throughout the whole album or anything, but I think it kind of fits for me, who's not offended by language. For me, it adds a little bit of color to it, and it makes sense to whatever character Oliver Anthony is trying to portray, because of course they would talk like that, you know. So
So yeah, that's me defending myself right there. Hopefully people don't have too much of a problem with me talking about it. But yeah, I personally would recommend Hymnal. Sorry, I'm going through puberty today for some reason, but Hymnal of a Troubled Man's Mind by Oliver Anthony.
When that sun comes back around, I'll be wishing I was sober.
And last but not least, we finally have a new album from Make Sure, and that album is called June, which is coming up pretty soon, and that's my birthday month. But yeah, we've got the new full length from Make Sure, band from, well, it's one guy. It's Joshua Aubrey Jackson, but Make Sure is his band / stage name. New to Tooth and Nail, but he has released quite a few albums before, which I actually still have to listen to fully. But I'm really enjoying June. It's a complete vibe. I love it so much. It's just the perfect like indie rock sound that has nice roomy production on the drums and some really great guitar effects. It's just it's the perfect kind of sound that you just play in your car with the windows rolled down and just kind of driving through town. It's got that vibe to it. And and he's got songs that are about relationships and dealing with those, but also with his relationship with God. And really beautiful stuff. Like I said, it's a complete vibe. I would say go check it out for sure. It's one of my favorites so far. Go check out June by Make Sure.
I love you in every
And that's about all that we got for today. Thanks for watching. I know this is a little bit of a crazy episode, but I hope you guys enjoyed it. So next episode, we've got another special interview, and I will say that this is the last interview that I have scheduled for now. I don't really have any scheduled in the future. I mean, they're going to happen, but this is probably going to be the last interview for a little while. Give you guys a little, not that you guys need a break from interviews. What am I talking about? You probably like the interviews more than just the episodes where you just have to deal with me. So, but next episode is going to be an interview episode, and it's with a new friend that I've found. Well, actually, someone that I've followed on YouTube for a few years now, and have only kind of just struck up a relationship with him. You guys maybe even remember him. He was like talking in the chats in one of our live streams, but it's Master Eth. And I talked with him a little while ago, and so he's going to be in this next episode, and we're going to talk about what he does on YouTube and all that. And it's a great conversation, so I hope you guys check it out. And beforehand, go check out his YouTube channel so you can get yourself familiar with him. It's Master Eth. That's Master and ETH at the end. So it looks like Master Eth, but it's Master Eth. So I mean, I tease him about that, but yeah, go check him out so you can get an idea for what he does. And it's going to be a fun episode. I'm really looking forward to it. So yeah. All right, that about does it. That'll be all for the I'm Clifford Today show. So be sure to subscribe if you liked what you saw and what you heard, and leave a like and leave a comment as well, because like I said, I love hearing from you guys. Leave a rating and review on Apple Podcasts. Leave a rating on whatever podcast platform that you're on, or any review if you can. I'm not sure if Apple, I feel like I feel like Apple Podcasts is the only one
that does reviews, but I don't know. I'm Clifford today. Is my second channel where I upload clips and highlight videos from these shows. And so if you'd rather watch me in smaller increments rather than these long episodes, you can go subscribe to that. Man, I need water. Anyways, Podwood Forecast is my other podcast that I do with my friend Mitchell. You can follow that on any podcast platform you prefer, including YouTube. Merch, always got merch. Links in the description. Buy a shirt, buy a mug, buy a sticker. I got those, so go check them out. I'm still working on the Winter Jam video. It's all filmed and everything. I just got to finish editing it. It's happening real soon. I wouldn't doubt it if I'll be finishing it within the week, honestly. So really excited for you guys to check that out, and I'll be giving you updates on that. So all right, well, my voice is hoarse. I will see you guys in the next episode with Master Eth. And remember that I'm Clifford today, and you're not. God bless you. Have a great weekend. Bye.